This is Kirkpatrick, and today's guest is the new superintendent of the Owensboro Public Schools. He's not new to Owensboro, though. Here is Dr. Nick Brake. Nick, nice to have you in the studio this morning.
Thanks, Kirk. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
How did you get to this position? You've been in Owensboro for quite a long time. Did you aspire to this, and how did you get here?
Well, I've had a 22-year career here in Owensboro and came here to actually teach social studies, history, economics at Davis County High School in the early 90s. Married my wife who's a native, and I taught at the high school for 7 years. I was the head soccer coach, also the academic dean by the time I left, and was promoted to the central office in the late 90s. And worked as a director of assessment and curriculum and research for the district-wide over all the elementary, middle, and high schools in the district. And then moved over to the Owensboro Community and Technical College. At the time, they were consolidating the vocational technical career education into the community college, and had the opportunity to work in that system for about 4 or 5 years. Before moving out of education, spent 7 years, as you know, my previous position in economic development here, where I really learned a lot about the big picture community perspective, worked closely from a workforce development standpoint, so understand what the end result of the education system is in helping to prepare folks for workforce here in Owensboro.
Well, your work with the EDC certainly brought to fruition the importance of the education background to our workforce. And I assume that's what you'll be bringing to this position in your aggressive 100 first days. Tell us what you've got planned there.
Well, obviously, first of all, I'm going to spend and am spending a lot of time listening to people and talking with key leaders, key stakeholders, our board members, obviously, and teachers and staff members throughout the district and all the schools. I'm going to focus a lot on culture and communication in the district. It's a district that has so many positive things happening, have a great 150-year tradition. Obviously, the facility issue is one of the major issues that the board identified early on that we need to deal with, and so we're going to be really looking at that from a comprehensive big picture perspective, looking at everything from our grade configurations in the elementary and middle schools to opportunities for enhancing early childhood education. The president and the federal government are focusing on ways that we can really dip down into the younger ages in pre-K education, so I think we're going to be trying to play a really strong leadership role statewide. We have a great preschool program in the Hager Preschool, so I think we're going to be that's going to be a major area of focus that we'll look at. And then, of course, at the other end of the spectrum is the providing career and technical education for students, and that is something that we've identified that we could use the Texas gas facility, the Boardwalk Building that's out on Frederick Street, that the district is in the final stages of preparing to purchase that property.
Well, you actually signed the agreement well over a year ago, but the Owensboro Public School System actually does not own the building yet, right. And of course you can't move in or actually make specific plans until you take ownership later this fall.
Yeah, Boardwalk Texas Gas is still in the building. It's owned by the developer, and the company will be moving downtown. I think they'll be set to move in sometime in August and September into their new home downtown, and then the building will be vacated. And at that point, the district will be taking ownership. And then we're, part of our facility planning process is going to be looking at the best use for that. And there have been a lot of different things thrown on the table, but certainly one of the most widely accepted at this point is the use for career and technical education, whether it is at the district level or whether that involves some other partnerships in the community with other districts in the community college and even the workforce is yet to be known. We've been working this is going on the third job that I've had where we've been trying to work in the community for providing adequate career and technical programs for high school students here. And we've had glimpses of excellence in some of the programs that we've offered, but we've never really had the holistic approach from a regional perspective in how we deliver that type of service to our students and really to the business community here, and trying to help our students graduate, move through the secondary, post-secondary continuum, ready for the high-tech and even evolving, changing workforce. So,
would you like to see all seniors that graduate from Owensboro High School go to college or community college, one or the other?
Well, I think there's no question that some form of post-secondary education is necessary for all students these days. With college, I think that sometimes the traditional four-year college programs are maybe overemphasized to students, and career and technical education is really a mainstream program in most other countries in the world, and it seems like we tend to demote it to a secondary role, and one that I think we need to try to work a little harder on making it mainstream, moving more students into that so that they can transition. And now that we have a comprehensive community and technical college, those students really aren't ever closing the door for any type of college degree. They can map that in, stop with a certificate, continue to a 2-year degree, and even continue to a 4-year degree. So I think the pathways are better than they've ever been.
Do you see budget challenges increasing in the future, especially with the fact that the federal government and the state government both are cutting back on most of the expenditures they're making to education?
Well, I think we are obviously, first of all, very well positioned. I think our board has provided good leadership, and I think our previous superintendent, Dr. Vick, really made some good decisions from a finance perspective. I've talked about the decision that was made with all the stimulus money coming down. Instead of hiring staff that would eventually have to be dealt with after that money went away, they invested in a one-to-one technology program that has been very beneficial for our students. Long term, I think we're going to be positioned there. But that said, I am concerned about what's happening at the state and federal levels.
What are your top 3 priorities? What are the top 3 things you want to accomplish here in your first year?
Well, first of all, I want to continue the level of tradition that we have and build upon our successes. We've got excellent reputation out there as a school district that provides a great education. We've built a reputation with our fine arts program as being one of the finest in the state. I want to build upon those things as a first goal, but I think a second goal would be to look at ways that we can continue to provide the alternatives for high school students that we've talked about with career and technical education. And then third, I think we need to look at the other end of the continuum. Early childhood is some of the best money that you can spend in education, because the research is overwhelmingly supportive that the money that you spend with 3 and 4-year-olds is a far more efficient way to spend the money than trying to spend it on the back end of the continuum of a child as they go through the system and even into the adult years.
Dr. Nick Brake, the new superintendent of the Owensboro Public School System.
Thank you, Kirk. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm very honored to have the opportunity to serve in this important capacity.